You know, the Wix editor is always surprised me because I always find like super creative things to do with the tools that we already have. It's not like a new feature or something, but when you combine tools that the editor provide us, you can create really amazing things. So today I want to show you how you can create this cool scroll effect, and this is actually a repeater that is connected to CMS, which is insane. So let's see how we can do it. It's not that complicated. Okay, so this is the editor. As you can see, I have here a repeater. This is a repeater, and this is the items of the repeater. But we will create it from scratch. So we will take this section to create it. So let's make it bigger. And of course we need a repeater. So let's drag a repeater here, right here. And I choose to display one item in the row. Okay, so go right here and put one. So it looks something like this. Great. Now let's center it, and instead give it a margin. I will do like 100 pixels from all over. All right, and by the way, this is a new feature that you can change the padding right from here. So it's not visible always, only when you go to a specific corner, which is awesome. And if you click options, if you click command and shift, you can control all of them at once. So we want to have 100 pixels. Great. So now I don't remember everything, you know, but we will have this example, so we will remember. Okay, so you know what, I don't want it to start on my screen, so I'll have another. What's happened? I cannot add another one from here. So I'll have a container, section above everything, and it will be 100% of the screen width, height. Okay, so it starts like this. Okay, because I don't want the animation to start like this. I want to scroll into the view. Okay, so this is an empty section, and the animation should start from here. Great. So the first thing that we need to do is to add another container to our repeater item. Okay, so I can stretch it just like this, and immediately I will give it a name so we will remember what to do with it. So this one will be we are going to use scroll animation, and for this one it should be how I call it, rotate from, actually it's not called rotate, let's see how it's called, scroll turn. Okay, so this will be turn from left. Great. And now I'll clone it and stretch it again, and sorry, this should be inside the turn left, so I'll drag it a bit, so now it is a child of the turn left, and I'll stretch it, and this one will be turn right. So it looks like this. To be more specifically, this will be turn out from right, and this will be turn in from left. Great. So now if I want to have content, so I'll have another container, and this will be the content container. Here I'll put all the design that I want for this specific repeater. So let's call it content container. Great. So this is how my DOM look like, the nesting of elements. Okay, so let's give this one a color, and it will be like this orange, just like my brand. All right, so just for now, let's set it to be 100%, and let's give it some height, a responsive height. So we will choose 50 viewport height. Okay, something like this. Well, maybe 80. Okay, let's play around with it. I can give it also some corners. I don't want it to be responsive, so it looks something like this. Okay, now I'm missing something. Let me check. No, I don't know. Let's keep working and see what's happening. So, you know, in scroll animation we have the trigger and we have the animated element. So most of the time we want the trigger to be the animated element. So for example, if I choose the repeater item, so if I'll go to add a scroll animation, I'll go to the add, and then we can select the animated element and the type. So by default it's the item itself, but I want the item to be the trigger, but I want it to affect different element. So let's select because I give names, so it's easy for me to choose. So let's choose the in animation. Okay, so turn in from left, so I'm selecting it. And now let's go to turn, and it should be in animated type in. It means like it's coming in. So let's go to adjust animation, and now in the preview I can see what's going on. Okay, so it looks like this. You can see the corners because we gave corners only for the content container, but actually in practice this is the element that is animated, is turn in from left. So we want it to come from left, okay, and we want the degrees to be the opposite way, so the orientation should be clockwise. So it looks something like this. Okay, so this is the first one, and I don't remember the animation area, so I will go quickly to my reference, and here I gave it a different name. This is turn out. It's not good. I need a turn in. It's in. So it scales from 0, and it's 0 to 50, and the second one is exactly the opposite way. Okay, so let's go back to our item, which we set the scroll animation, and let's adjust the animation so it's 0 to 50, but it should scale from 0. Okay, so it looks something like this. Great. Now let's go to preview to see what's happening. Okay, so as I scroll into my screen, into my viewport, so I see the element is animating in, and then this is the 50%, and then it's scrolling like the native scrolling, right? So there we see the other elements going inside. So now we set the in animation. Now we need to set the out animation. So let's go back again to the item and add another scroll animation. Now instead of now we'll change the animated element to be this container, the turn out from right, and then we will choose not in animation but out animation. Okay, sorry, what's happening? Oh, sorry, I need to choose the out. It's not give. Let me choose. Let's try it again. Add out. Let's select, choose from canvas, and then turn out. Okay, great. Now let's change it to out, and we will select the turn, adjust animation. So we need to change the direction to right, and we need to change orientation to clockwise. So it looks like this. Now let's preview it and see how amazing it's working. So this is the 50%, and then it's going out. Okay, super easy, right? So now basically everything is working. What do you see right here? This is the item itself, the item background. So let's change its color to something else, to blue. And now you can see that the item itself is not animating. It's only the containers that we set. So what's happened right here? Oh, I set it to the item maybe, because the in animation is not the item, but the out animation is the item. Or let me check. No. So why? This is blue. Oh, because this is come to place and then stay there. So let's give the turn in a different color. So it's the green. So now it will be super clear what's going on. So let's go back again to preview. So this is the item, and this is what is animating is the turn in container, and then the turn in is stay in place, and the turn out is actually animating. This is why we need a content container, because it should always be animating. So this is the trick. Okay, so another thing that maybe you want to try is to, you can see that when this element is in view, you don't see the next item or the previous item, which can be really cool that you will see them. So the trick is that we need to somehow minimize the gap between them. So the way that I found to do it is by making the item shorter, okay? But currently the item is getting its own height from, I need to remove this one, I don't need it. Okay, this is the minimum height of the row. The item is getting its height from the content container, because we set a height of 80 VH. Again, I need to remove the row height. Okay, so if I'll make it smaller, this is not what we really need, because maybe we do want the items to be high, like big. Okay, and so now you can see that when it's 50 viewport height, I can see the next item already in view. Okay, and here at the second item I see them both. So I want to get this effect, but still I want this item to be bigger. So the trick that I found is that I can still set this element height, this container height, to be 80 viewport height, but then I don't want the item to be at the same height. So I can add some negative margins for the content container. For example, if I set minus let's say 30 viewport height, okay, from all around. So now if I'll add some border to the content container, so you can see that they are overlapping each other. You see, they are overlapping each other, okay? But look what's happened when I'm going to preview. So in preview, now this is a bit drastic, but you can see now they are actually like really following each other, okay? So we can play around with these values of the margin. For example, I can make it smaller, let's say 50%, 50 viewport height from all around, and now they are not only here, they are not overlapping each other like very much. What we can do, by the way, if we don't have you know what, let's remove the background color from the item, because we get the idea. We don't need any background color for these three containers, only for the content containers. So now you see it's more clear, right? Another way that you can do to control more precisely is to set some height for the item itself. So if I'll set here 50 viewport height, okay, to the item itself, and then here I can put a big number like minus 100 viewport height from all over the place. So still the item is keep its own 50 viewport height, okay? So the content is much bigger, okay? But now, oh, this is not good. I think it's because this one has docking. So I need to do it without any docking. So let me see if I'm correct. Yeah. So when I'm removing the docking, it looks much better. They're still overlapping a bit. So what I can do, maybe I can set this one to 60. Or I can add gaps between the items. You need to play around with it to make sure that this is sit perfectly. So look how beautiful it is right now. Okay, so this is the working example. So let's see if I set something different there. I'll try to set exactly the same values right here to see that this is actually working. So let's see. The item itself doesn't have any height. The move out have its own 50 viewport height, which is kind of the same if I set it to the item itself. It doesn't have any negative margin. The shrink doesn't have height, it's stretched. And the content also doesn't have height, but the image, it has 80 viewport height. So it's kind of the same what I've done right here. Of course, when you will build it, you need to play around with it a bit to make it fit to your needs. Now, the final things that I want to do is to connect it to a repeater, to a database. So right here, I have a data set with some images and order how to display the images. So instead of putting the images, I will put the number of the order. So let's add a text element, make it a bit bigger, and let's set it to be max content, and it will sit right in the middle. And I'll connect this item to the order, so it will be a number. Okay, so let's see the final result. So as you can see, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everything working so smoothly. So let's see the live side to make sure that everything is working as expected. So look how beautiful it's working. Absolutely amazing. And this is only when I'm using the turn effect. Imagine what you can do with different skull animation. For example, I didn't try it before, but let's try to do it really fast. Instead of turn, so I want it to fade in. Okay, from 0. Let's see the example. You see, this is fading in, and I can take the turn out and change it to fade, and it will fade out. So now they are overlapping each other, but let's see how this is not good. So what we can do, we can set the height to 100%. So now they are not, the content is not going out of the item, and I can set some gaps to the item that says 100 pixels. Okay, so now it looks like this, which is also super cool, right? So you have so many animation options. So imagine what you can do when you play around with them. You can choose blur, expand, shrink. Actually, this is interesting to try. This is the in, so we want it to expand in. So it looks like this from center, 30%. I don't know, let's not play around with it. And now I can change it to, when it's going out, I want it to shrink back, like this. Okay, so let's publish it and see the live results. Sometimes it takes some time. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it looks like this, which is also super cool. So really, you have so much options to play around with this method. So if you created something interesting, please share it with me in the comments. And until next time, keep building amazing websites on Wix Studio.